Здравствуйте, уважаемые друзья! Меня зовут Игорь
I'm
Okhrimenko.
Igor Okhrimenko, rector of the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law.
Это высшее учебное
This high
заведение,
educational institution is located in Kyiv, Ukraine.
кроме обучения,
Besides their academic studies, our students are actively engaged in social volunteering activities. That's why we are interested in inclusive education, and this interest led us to the IACD. I believe that many of you would agree that community development is simultaneously an individual and common process. Its individuality is defined by the individuality and differences of communities itself, such as their size, locality, activity, background. Commonality is defined by the laws of social development that apply to any society and stand above their individual characteristics. This common nature in community development allows us to speak about particular patterns that can be studied and used for increasing effectiveness of community livelihood. This in turn allows for defining the principles pinpointing the community development standards. Effectiveness of any process depends on the qualification of those who carry it out, and community development is not an exception. However, there is no such a profession as community development practitioner in post-Soviet countries, because successful functioning of a community requires involvement of specialists of various occupations with different sets of skills. But understanding basic community development principles for these professionals can be very useful, and this raises an issue of development of instruments for providing this knowledge. One of the ways of obtaining this knowledge can be the practical experience of the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law, where community development standards has been integrated in the curriculum. For example, a master's degree program Social Entrepreneurship can be attended by any person with a bachelor's degree has been launched. The purpose of this program is to provide practical skills in organizing and development of a community. Since it's a master's degree program, all of the students have already had an occupation and are accomplished professionals in their own fields. Nevertheless, successful practice in community development requires theoretical knowledge accumulated by experienced practitioners and academics. We also believe that communication and experience exchange among the students of our program is very important too. Since there is no such profession as a community development practitioner in Ukraine, but there is a demand for these specialists, our institution has decided to start professional education, creating a new specialization within the already existing area of expertise. For this purpose, we chose entrepreneurship because the sum of competences provided by this specialization is the closest one to the tasks that are important for community development. Since knowledge in financing and economy is important but is not a defining one, according to Ukrainian legislation, we called a new specialization or educational program social entrepreneurship. This master's degree program is going to be carried out in the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law, a licensed higher educational institution. But since this new program is atypical and innovative for our institution, we were faced with the necessity to find partners with the expert knowledge in this field. One of the partners is the NGO Inclusive Practices, an organization based in Georgia, with theoretical knowledge and practical experience in community development. Moreover, the Inclusive Practices is a member of the IACD and not only has an understanding of the IACD shared community development standards, but applies these principles in practice. So basically, there are two organizers and contractors for the Social Entrepreneurship Master's Program. Territorially and formally, this program is carried out by the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law, and the idea and method is provided by the NGO Inclusive Practices. This tandem allows to noticeably expand educational tools and multiply opportunities for disseminating the program's experience. The educational program integrates two blocks of subjects: general subjects and special subjects, based on the ICD shared international standards. Since the graduates of the program will receive a master's diploma, according to the law, they have to master the entrepreneurship curriculum. So the students will receive business knowledge and skills. But business activities will be directed not to maximization of profits or other corporate purposes, but to provide livelihood for a community. Elective subjects that form a core of the specialization are based on theoretical and practical aspects of community development, studying community development standards and their implementation in community development practice. This approach allows using business skills and knowledge, but with a focus on community development and utilizing a vast practical experience provided by the ICD. The master's degree program, according to Ukrainian legislation, lasts for a year and a half. As a result of the program, besides mastering aforementioned subjects, the students will prepare a master's thesis. This thesis should be focused on practical aspects of community development, from the organization of a community to handling its everyday activities and needs. Since according to the Ukrainian law, the content of a master's thesis and its defense have to be public, the materials may be used as practical tools for any person interested in community development. Of course, we have high standards for our staff. The first block of subjects, entrepreneurship, will be taught by the teachers employed by the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law, who are highly respected professionals in their respective fields. The second block will be taught by the people who have already had practical knowledge and skills in community development. Though they are not employed by the Kyiv Cooperative Institute of Business and Law, and many of them are not teachers, they are experienced community development practitioners, and this fact will allow us to make the educational process highly effective. Our partners from the NGO Inclusive Practices will provide the elective subjects that form the core of the specialization, as well as specialists to teach these subjects. Thanks to this international cooperation, the program will also be international and will be taught by the specialists from various countries, not just Ukraine and Georgia. This will allow us to expand the sources of teachable materials as well as the sphere of utilization of knowledge and skills. The study of the ICD shared international community development standards within the classic educational activity allows for replicating this experience across the network of educational institutions and spreading this knowledge. Taking into consideration the number of communities that can use this knowledge and universality and accessibility of the aforementioned instruments for spreading of this knowledge, we believe that practice can be successfully applied in all the territories with the formal educational institution. It's worth noticing that educational institutions are not the only source for spreading this information, and in this aspect, they just complement the sphere of informal education that has been working in this direction for quite some time already. Thank you for your attention. Now, a documentary about this and other projects of our institute has been produced together with our partners from Inclusive Practices, and you can watch the promo video now.
навчальному комплексі представлені всі види навчальних закладів, ми можемо пройти цілий оцей весь шлях із найменшими перепонами.
Серед гостей нашого інституту відомі та успішні люди. Це визнані лектори, тренери, професіонали своєї справи, в яких студенти мають можливість навчатися.
Наші студенти, випускники нашого навчального закладу – це, як правило, високоморальні, порядні люди, які мають національну гідність, які поважають свою державу, свій народ, свою мову.
Уже є цілі покоління, які тут виросли, які вивчились самі і приводять своїх дітей. Тому навіть з точки зору ринку маємо досить непогану свою ринкову нішу, але будемо, звичайно, вдячні всім тим, хто захоче до нас приєднатися, поповнити нашу сім'ю, ну і буде щось робити на благо країни, на благо нашого закладу.